Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I can't, for whatever reason, my video is not opening, but I see that my video is not opening. And I'm asking for permission for that to be, oh, here it is. There it is. It might work now.
Thank you.
Hold on, let's see. Yes, I'm on now. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Courtney, do I have a quorum?
Yes, sir, you do. Mike is trying to log in right now.
Okay, let's give him a chance to log in, and we'll start. Okay, Mike is requesting that he be emailed the link for this meeting. Courtney, he said it's he's having difficulty. I did too, so that's what took me so long to get here.
I've already sent it to him. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
I finally made it.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, thank you, everyone. Sorry for the delay today. I appreciate everyone's patience with us. Courtney, would you put the agenda back up on the screen for our viewers, please? Thank you. What we just concluded was an executive session with regard to the letters received by Ms. Karonda Corley and the letter we received in response from Ms. Kim Bazile. So the consensus on that is that the issues related will be referred to our grievance committee that we have set up to review our policies for sharing information and participation at our meetings. And so that has been recommended, and we're going to forward the request for our grievance committee and its members to look at procedures and policies in helping to ensure that our meetings have a decorum that allow us to do the work we're here to do. And so that request is going to our grievance committee to help us figure out ways to develop a process that allows us to share our feelings, but also to conduct the business we're here to do, and do so in a way that's fair and values everyone, both our members and our public. Does anyone have anything to add? Okay. Okay, hearing nothing more on that matter.
Sorry, Randall, it looks like Miss Karanda Corley has her hand raised.
Yes, Ms. Karanda, you have the floor.
Greetings, Mr. Chairman and Executive Committee. First and foremost, there were multiple complaints that was documented in that letter. One
Yes.
being ethical violations.
Yes,
That
let me
every council-
address that. Let me address that. The ethical concerns and the other concerns you raised in your letter, we're working closely. Hyacinth and I both are with LDH and with their compliance team, and LDH is our Department of Health, particularly their legal department and their compliance team on those matters. And I shared in the session that we are working closely to get their advice and opinion on the entire process. And of course, your letter is part of that. And so anything they share with us in terms of how they feel we should proceed will be used as guidance for determining how we proceed with this matter. So we're awaiting response from them on the content of the letters, as far as how we proceed and what we should formally do.
Okay, so may I proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay, so one of the things that was documented in the letter, besides the ethical violations, was also the breach in adhering to our actual federal DD Act and our bylaws. And we don't have to consult with LDH in regards to in regards to violating our actual federal DD Act and our bylaws. But it also, in accordance with that, we also just received a federal letter that complimented, saying that we're in violation in regards to our hiring practices, which is another compliment in regards to my letter of how we're not adhering to our federal DD Act. So now we have a third letter that actually talks about our breach. But in addition to that, you're recommending for us to send it to the grievance committee, in which Ms. Basile sits on, along with some of the people that she's friends with. So I don't see that we would have any reconciliation if we send it to a committee that she actually sits on, unless we're going to have her remain absent from that committee, because that committee still have yet to address any other complaints that were actually sent to the council a year prior. That wasn't sent by me, but from other people in our actual committee, so
We
in our
understand.
community.
We
So
understand.
I'm just inquiring on if that committee is actually going to, one, have Ms. Basile remain absent from actually being on there, um, and two, will the executive committee, once they actually get more insight from LDH, actually revisit this actual topic?
We will. I've already committed to. We're working closely. The vice chair of the council and I both are working closely with LDH, and we will follow their recommendation. I don't have any idea what that will be at this point, but I will certainly take into consideration um, everything that needs to be uh, done. And so I don't believe Kim sits on our grievance committee.
She
Uh,
does.
well, I'm the authority on that, so uh, we'll visit that issue. Um, and so that's noted. Your concern there is noted. But
Right. And
as far as the things that are have any legal bearing, that's being looked at by LDH, and that they will guide us on how to move forward with all of those matters. And I know there's been a delay on a number of things. We're not in control of that, but we are working closely with LDH and the compliance department to get these issues addressed.
thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And I just want to also make it a note, because I see that someone actually posted a comment in regards to defamation of character and slander. And I just want to urge everyone in the community to actually look up what defamation of character and slander actually is, because I think you actually have to know that I'm actually friends with Miss Kim Basile and have been for some years. And Miss Kim Basile actually has been on our council for more than 1 year. So she's actually very knowledgeable on what the process is. And I'm not doing anything that has not been done before. So I think that everybody actually needs to know that that's the only way that we can bring about a unification to our community, is if we actually follow our federal and state laws. And our laws are not actually being followed. So it's not defamation of character or slander. So
Thank you.
I think you appreciate that, Mr. Chairman, and what you and the executive committee is actually trying to do. And I anticipate immediate reconciliation on this matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And
Mm.
let me speak to the fact that we need decorum in all our meetings. And so anything that's a personal attack on any one of us or perceived as such, that is something I'm very sensitive to as your chair. And I want everyone who is part of these meetings, our council members and our public, to know you're here as a valued member, and you're here because we want you to be. We want to hear from everyone. And we want to do so in a way that's respectful to all members at all times. So the grievance committee will be looking at ways to ensure that we have uh, meetings that are, one, more productive and pertinent for what we're here to do, sent by the governor to do, um, as per the DD Act. And we want to make sure we do our work in a way that values everyone, so that when we speak at our meetings, that people can do so in a way that's respectful, number one, of everyone, whether we personally agree with each other, personally like each other or not. Um, you have to be respectful at all times of all of us, because we're here because we care. And that's certainly something that uh, I believe is true. We certainly all don't agree, and that's fine. But let's all be aware that kindness is key. We're all volunteering. We're all doing this because we want to. And so I want to thank all of you, our council members, our public. I mean, you're all essential. Everyone is essential to the work we do. And I want to make that very clear. And so any policies we make moving forward are going to reflect that.
We have a few other public comments, Randall.
Are they pertinent to the discussion?
Three of them had to do with the previous discussion, and one of them has to do with the proposals.
Okay. On the issue of the proposals, I stated earlier, I don't think I had a chance to state again when we returned. The SOP process, the solicitation of proposals, we're going to have to table. We're not going to be able to get to that today because we had a large amount of interest. We had, I think ultimately there were 21 proposals submitted. There's a lot of information contained in each, and we received it on Friday, but we haven't had a chance to review everyone's properly, as would be necessary for a discussion. So we're going to table that for today and schedule a meeting as soon as possible to address those specifically.
Okay, I think she had a question about the timeline of that rescheduling.
Okay.
Would you like me to
It-
read?
Yes.
Ashley McReynolds said, Randall, what is the executive committee's plan to get the proposals reviewed and voted on in time to ensure that staff have time to get contracts written and signed and submitted in order to start them for October 1st?
Thank you, Ashley, for the question. We're going to look at our schedules immediately at the conclusion of this meeting and figure out a time that gives us both time to review all the proposals we now have and to be able to get the work we need done in time for all of the procedures to still happen as they need to. So as soon as this meeting concludes, we're going to look at our schedules and schedule it as quickly as we can. We're aware of the tight timeline. We're going to do everything we can to adhere to deadlines, but we certainly want to give all 21 participants the due diligence in making sure that we're fully abreast of all the things that are and aware of all the things that are contained in their proposals as we discuss those. So the answer is as soon as possible, we will schedule our next meeting. Anything else?
You also have a public comment from Karonda Corley.
Okay.
The DD Council should always have a space that represents every person in our DD community. If our DD Council should include more individuals, then I would recommend an attorney who is knowledgeable in the federal and state DD Act, the DD bylaws, Louisiana ethics, open meeting law, Robert's Rules of Order, and the Civil Rights Act.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman, may I be
Yes.
recognized?
Yes, you may.
I'm wanting to be recognized for us to be mindful of the time. We are actually we're 11 minutes over our scheduled time for this executive committee meeting today. And so I'm going to ask that we go back to the agenda and conclude this meeting in accordance with the time that we have scheduled.
So be it. Thank you. Okay, so let's move along. So we've tabled the solicitation of proposals for another meeting to be determined as soon as we can. So those issues will go to our next meeting agenda. So the next thing we have to review is the virtual procedures, correct? I think I'm right about that. So, Courtney, am I right about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so,
Is there
We
a
talked-
motion on the floor?
right, I need a motion to make some changes that the committee felt might be pertinent in light of the executive session we just had. So do you have a motion on the floor in regard to the proposals? Or in regard to the procedure?
Looks like Mary wants to be recognized.
Yes, Mary, you have the floor.
Hey, I wanted us to look at the teleconference meeting protocols. They're always part of the agenda at the very top if people haven't noticed them. But I know that whenever we were meeting face to face, we read through our mission statement and we read through the rules of the meeting, and I think we need to go back to doing that. But I do have some comments that would like to make a motion about adding some things to the teleconference meeting protocols.
Okay.
Under the public comments section, I would say that comments of a person's character will not be heard. The speaker would be asked to stop the discussion by the chairperson. If the speaker doesn't stop, the chairperson may ask the DD Council staff to stop the meeting and disengage from the Zoom or the YouTube. And then after that would happen, that the chairperson would notify the executive committee of the meeting being stopped. And the executive committee chairperson would review and determine if the video would need to be redacted before being published through social media.
So that's a formal motion?
Yes, and then the last part of that would be that LDH would be consulted to help with any legal issues.
Yes.
So I would like to make that motion.
Okay. So Mary has made a motion regarding the protocols for our meetings. And do I have a second to Mary's motion?
I'll second.
Okay, so Mary has made a motion with regard to changes to our protocol for our meetings. Mike has seconded that motion. Do I have any abstentions to the motion? Hearing none, do I have any objections to this motion? Hearing none, this motion has carried. Thank you all. I believe that concludes our business today, does it not, Courtney? Because most of everything I see before me will be related to the solicitation of proposals. So,
Yes, sir. Before leaving, we would need a motion to adjourn.
yes.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn today's executive committee meeting.
Do I have a second to Hyacinth's motion to
Second.
adjourn today's meeting?
Second.
Do I have any objection?
Oh, Randall, there's a comment in the chat box.
Okay, can you please read it, sir?
Says you may want to consult with legal before redacting any videos and or transcripts.
We would. Let me make clear, we would. That's why we added, that's why Mary added legal consultation into that motion. The chair would seek legal consultation if something should be redacted or not.
And that was from Miss Corley.
Okay, thank you. All right, there's no other comment, we are adjourned. Thank you all.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.